think Craig is up in the booth. So, yes. Like I said, I didn't think there was a problem. So that's good. I didn't think there was Hello, everybody on the College of the Siskiyous Facebook page. We welcome you to Herschel Meredith Stadium on the campus of College of the Siskiyous. I'm going to back off a little bit. As you hear the roar of the teams ready to go, it is the Screaming Eagles of College of the Siskiyous taking on the Shasta College Knights. And we are also going to be simulcasting with Action VR Network and 920 WON the Apollo, New York. This is our normal broadcast. And I'm going to go ahead and, as we're doing a sound check right now, and I'm also relaying a message to.
Welcome to College of the Siskiyous.
I'm relaying a message to Jonathan Reels, letting him know that we're going to be starting at the top of the hour on the radio broadcast. But you folks here on the COS Facebook page, we welcome you. And again, thanks to the fine folks at the Siskiyou Media Council for providing the on-air video footage as well as the play-by-play. So it's great to have all of you with us, and a beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous day here in Weed, California. You couldn't ask for better weather, no wind to speak of, so it's going to be a great game. A lot of history here between the two teams.
Please be respectful and courteous to each other. The CCCAA strongly encourages all fans to avoid using profane language, taunting, or making inappropriate gestures or non-verbal signs to opposing teams and fans. In addition, any non-credential person coming onto the field surface will be escorted out of the venue by security staff. A reminder, if you are not a player, coach, trainer, game doctor, or invited guest, please leave the area immediately. The athletic director, Dennis Roberts, issues sideline passes.
Because in just about 5-6 minutes time, it'll be kickoff. Coming up at halftime on WON, which you folks don't need to know about. They're going to air Minnesota Superman. But we're going to break away during halftime and get a bit of set to go. So let's see who won the toss. See, the referee's microphone mic'd up. Apparently the ref is not mic'd up. So this comes wins the toss.
So they will receive the ball. And in about 5 minutes, we're going to go on the air. So stand by. This is College of the Siskiyous Facebook live right here. Mike Summers on the call, so don't you dare go away. And we're going to have the national anthem here, so hang tight. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would please rise for our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there.
Oh, they're going on now. We're not wasting any time today. All right, folks, you might hear the Action VR broadcast in the background here. They're not wasting any time, so we're going to be joining the game in progress on the radio side. But you folks here on the COS Facebook page, we welcome you to Herschel Meredith Stadium on the campus of College of the Siskiyous. Mike Summers along with you, the Siskiyou Media Council staff here carrying the game as well. Glad to have all of you with us and give me a chance to learn names and numbers. And we are underway just before 1 o'clock. And the kick goes to D'Angelo Biggs, who will take it at the 3-yard line. He heads up the sidelines and will be brought down at about the 25, 26-yard line. And that is where the Eagles will start 1st and 10 at the 20, well, they're going to mark him down at the 26-yard line, and that is where we're going to get things going. Glad to have you with us from Herschel Meredith Stadium. It is the Screaming Eagles of College of the Siskiyous against the Shasta College Knights from Reading, the rivalry to end all rivalries in junior college. Part of the triad rivalries, I like to call it, along with Butte College. And stand by because I'm going to be joining with the radio team in progress, so hang tight. Short pass out to Biggs, and they didn't waste any time. Welcome, everybody, to Herschel Meredith Stadium on the campus of College of the Siskiyous. It is Screaming Eagle football along the Screaming Eagle Football Network with Action VR Network, 920 WON, the Apple, New York City, and College of the Siskiyous Facebook Live and Siskiyou Media Council. Along with everybody here, I'm Mike Summers. We're not wasting any time. We're already into the second play from scrimmage. 2nd down and 10. Quarterback is Hayden Chittick, 5'9", 173-pound freshman defensive back out of Lassen High School in Susanville, starting as quarterback. The first pass to D'Angelo Biggs was incomplete. Siskiyous won the toss. They got the ball, and here's the handoff. It's to number 2 who gets a first down. That's Siskiyous Dennis Lee, a 5'10", 178-pound freshman running back out of Oregon City, Oregon. Played for the Oregon City Pioneers in high school, and is once again here with College of the Siskiyous. The opening kickoff went to D'Angelo Biggs. He took it from the 3 and came out to the 26-yard line, and that was where the Eagles started. And now it is 1st and 10 for the Eagles at the 37-yard line. Again, playing the Shasta College Knights in the rivalry game. Shasta from Reading, California. They're coached by Brian Hamilton in his first season as the head coach. And Chittick takes the handoff. Or actually, I should say he takes the quarterback keeper and gets it up to about the 45-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 2. Brian Hamilton, I've known for many, many years, taking over for longtime head coach Craig Thompson, who is the defensive coordinator now for the Shasta College Knights. Craig spent nearly 30 years as the head coach. Maybe I'm going a little too far with that, but as a lot of time head coach at Shasta College. Miss going down to Memorial Stadium to watch all those games. I used to cover both Siskiyous and Shasta for years, but because we live in Oregon, it's kind of tough to get down there. But at least able to get down here to do some Siskiyous games. Here's the handoff again to Dennis Lee, and he cuts around the corner. He's heading down sidelines, up the sidelines to the 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown Siskiyous. And just like that, the College of the Siskiyous Screaming Eagles strike first blood. Siskiyous Dennis Lee with a 55-yard touchdown run, and the Eagles get on the board first. And as my old buddy and former Shasta College commentator George Thorlson would say, just what the doctor ordered for the COS Screaming Eagles. Sorry, George, had to do that. And getting ready for the extra point is Tristan Lewis, 6'2", 221-pound sophomore kicker out of Beaverton, Oregon. He sends this one up, and the kick is good. Timeout on the field. We are just underway. 13:32 left to go here in the first quarter. We're going to stay here with you through this break, and great to have all of you with us here on a gorgeous day here at Herschel Meredith Stadium. Score update from back east. North Brunswick leading 24-21 with 3:20 left to go in the fourth quarter. Again, that game was supposed to be on the air on 920 WO on the Apple, but unfortunately they're having some technical issues there. So we're bringing that game. So we're bringing you score updates. Jonathan's relaying them to us for the folks back east. But for everyone else, we're glad that you could be here with us on Action VR Network. Sorry for the late start, but they got the game underway a couple minutes early this afternoon. No, they're not expecting bad weather today. It is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, picture-perfect day. Blue skies, green lights, forest looks great, fall colors are in the air. You can't ask for a better day for football. Tristan Lewis getting ready to kick off to the Shasta College Knights. Shasta white from head to toe. Siskiyous in their dark blue uniforms, dark blue helmets with the eagle wings that are silver, reminiscent of the Philadelphia Eagles, and charcoal gray pants. And here's Lewis with the kickoff, and it's a nice booming kick, and it's going to be picked up by, looks like, number 2 for the Shasta College Knights, and trying to do some shifty moves. Flags are coming out, and the flag fest is about to begin. Number 2, Ivan Smith, 6 foot, 165-pound freshman wide receiver out of South Dade Senior High School in Homestead, Florida, with a nice return out to, I believe, about the 25, but we got flags on the play, and we're going to see what the indication is. And referee has a headset mic, but his mic's not working right now. And we have a personal foul call against the Knights, and it'll be a half the distance penalty here. So instead of starting at the 25, they're going to be starting all the way back at the 12.5-yard line, it looks like. Normally it'd be a 15-yard penalty, but it is half the distance to the goal, and so the Knights will have the ball first down and 10, and for the first time in a long time, I get to call the Shasta College Knights. Going back to the old days of George Thorlson and Paul Vietti with KQMS in Reading. Quarterback is Kental Petit, product of Chaparral High School in Chaparral, Nevada, and he gets, or excuse me, there's the handoff. Again, give me a chance to learn names and numbers here.
James Lee with the ball.
James Lee with the ball, number 1, 5'9", 155-pound freshman wide receiver out of Countryside High School, Clearwater, Florida.
Preston Long on the stop for the Eagles.
Quarterback is
Pickup of 3, it'll be second down and 7.
Wakalani Wickard. He is a 6'3", 225-pound sophomore quarterback out of Lower Lake High School, Lower Lake, California, down near Clear Lake. And a lot of the players, well, it used to be a lot of the players for Shasta College were local players, but they're doing the exact same thing a lot of these other junior colleges are doing. And so here's Wickard, gets the handoff. And it looks like it's to Lee again, or excuse me, to the running back this time. And it is Lee.
Stopped by Talmadge.
We're seeing
Pick up a 4, it'll be third down and 3.
Pick up a 4, it'll be third down and 3 for the Knights. Again, from Reading, California, we have a player down for the Knights. Might be a bit of a cramp. I'm not sure if we can have cramps this time of the year. It is November 2nd and unseasonably warm, so this is definitely a switch. Normally this time of the year, matter of fact, back several years ago when I used to cover games for Siskiyous and Shasta, it would start getting cold this time of year. Not the case this year here on this November 2nd, but weather will probably change in a couple weeks when we come back down here for the final home game of the regular season. If you were listening to the pregame show with Gary Moore doing our interview, he did say that they're going to be at home against American River next week. And then they'll close out the season on the road at Butte College, and that's not going to be an easy task against the Roadrunners. Injured player is Michael Johnson, 6'4", 280-pound sophomore offensive lineman out of Pleasant Hill High School, Pleasant Hill, Oregon. And this is something I did find out what the name of the team is. The Pleasant Hill Billies. I'm not kidding you, folks. I covered Pleasant Hill once, so I know what that's like. It's a very unique name. Been through that, actually rode through that town, and they're just located just south of Eugene, as a matter of fact, Pleasant Hill. So it'll be third down and 3, it looks like. Third down and 2, actually. Nope, third and 3 from the 19 for the Knights. Back to pass, and has a man open. Oh, is tipped and incomplete. As number 24 tipped that one away.
Pass intended for Gable.
That's Dustin Long. 5'9", 203-pound freshman linebacker out of Biggs High School in Biggs, California. Biggs, the home of Congressman Doug LaMalfa. Or actually, he went to high school there at Biggs High School. The Wolverines, a team that I'm familiar with, played Dunsmuir on many an occasion in football action. Joshua Sanchez will be kicking this one away for the for the Knights, 5'11", 175-pound sophomore kicker punter out of Corning High School, the Corning Cardinals. And he gets this one away. It's a knuckler, and it's going to be caught by number 10, and it's Chittick, and he gets knocked out of bounds about the 45-yard line, and that's where the Eagles will take over at the 45 of Shasta, first down and 10. And Chittick will be at quarterback once again. They had to make a quarterback change a few weeks ago as Tyce Vongsa was ineffective throughout the first few weeks of the season, so they have been switching up quarterbacks, and now Hayden Chittick is getting his opportunity. Got his opportunity against American River a couple weeks ago, and really showcased some skills. I was very impressed with the way that Hayden, the work that Hayden did right there a couple weeks ago, and now he's getting the start again. And here's Dennis Lee, and he's going to be brought down behind the line of scrimmage. Looking to see who was on the tackle for the Knights, number 55. I want to say 55. If it's 55, that's Rashard Budd. He's a 6'3", 325-pound sophomore defensive lineman out of Damascus High School in Rockville, Maryland. So Shasta now pretty much going across the country looking for some great players. For many years, they used to recruit mostly local, but now are getting their opportunity to bring some players that may not get chances elsewhere. Here's Dennis Lee, and gets a 3-yard gain on the play on 2nd and 11. It'll now be 3rd and 8. They'll have the ball at the 43-yard line. Good crowd here, and some folks coming up from Shasta. I mean, Reading's about an hour and 15 minutes away from here, so not far for the Knights to travel here. But part of that triad rivalry I've talked about for many years. These two teams, as well as Butte College, I call it the triad rivalry. Where I always like to call it the triad rivalry, when you have 3 teams that are in close proximity to each other that are very, very bitter rivals at times. Here's Chittick on the keeper, and he'll bring it down to about the 40-yard line, and it's decision time for the Eagles, and not a very bad decision, as it looks like we may be seeing the punting unit coming out, and it'll be Tristan Lewis to kick it away. So she's going to try and knuckle it before it gets to the end zone. And for the Knights, Ivan Smith is going to go back deep for the Knights. And if you hear that dinging on the phone, I'm getting a lot of updates here, so I don't have a headset. So please, my apologies for that. And Smith is going to get away from the ball, and it's going to take a Shasta bounce. And they're trying to, oh my gosh, the coaches are really giving Brian Hamilton, I don't know if that was Brian or not, but boy, he was giving, I think it was 31, some static right there. Tavian Wallace, 5'11", 200-pound freshman defensive back out of Mansfield High School, Lake Ridge, Texas. Nearly touched the ball that time, and I think Brian Hamilton was giving him some static big time. So now the Knights will have it 1st and 10. And once again, it will be Wickard at quarterback. Hokulani Wickard. And flag on the play again. And so far, no flags for the Eagles. And the referee turned the mic on a little too quickly, as you heard the whistle blow. We do have a flag on the play. And apparently he's having some mic issues. So this is not the normal refereeing crew that we see here at Herschel Meredith Stadium. So it is going to be a offsides penalty against the Eagles. And 5 yards. It'll be 1st and 5. So Wickard out of what we call the Ray gun, named for former Shasta Knight Ricky Ray, who went on to play in the Canadian Football League and win 4 Grey Cups. Here's the handoff. It's to 33. We haven't called his name yet. He's going to be brought down after a 4-yard gain. That's Tyler Boston, 5'11", 195-pound freshman running back out of Dixon High School in Dixon, California. I want to say that's down near Sacramento. I know Davis is down near Sacramento, but I'm not sure about Dixon. Second down and 1. And boy, the crew here with Siskiyou Media Council is awesome. Abby just told me Dixon is down near Santa Barbara, so he's a long way from home, close to the Los Angeles area out of Santa Barbara. Abby should know. She's visited there. Here's the handoff, and that's going to be a first down as Matthew McCree,
the ball carrier.
a 5'10", 185-pound sophomore running back out of Cambridge High School in Milton, Georgia, with the carry. And it'll be 1st and 10 for the Knights at the 32-yard line. Referee needs to definitely needs to turn the mic off. Probably not used to having a microphone, but I'm pretty sure Dennis Roberts, who's down there on the field, by the way, who always issues the sideline passes. And we try, as I said, we tried to get Charlie Roach, but he was already on his way to the locker room with his team. When Charlie Roach has the game face on, you leave him alone. Brian Hamilton, he's too easy going a guy, so we were glad to have him on a little earlier. And McCree on the carry that time, a gain of 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. As I said, I go back a long time to Shasta College as well. And Dennis is trying to tell him, turn your mic off, dude. Oh, man. Well, you never know what to expect in a rivalry like this, even with the referee not paying attention. Oh, I'm going to get shot for that one. Wickard on the out of the ray gun once again. A lot of great players that came out of Shasta College many years ago. And here's the pass. And gets it to Lee, and he gets popped, a big one, but not after a big gain. And the referee is going to spot him down at the 41-yard line. And it'll be 2nd down, or I think it's going to be 4th down. The scoreboard's saying 4th down. Line marker has not changed it, so it's probably going to be, they're going to say 1st down, it looks like. So the chain gang, I know one of them, Peter Glenn. Peter's got to get on their case and say, hey, guys, pay attention. All right? So 1st and 10. We're having a great time here at Memorial Stadium. And I see Tom Powers is in the house here, the women's basketball coach as well as the volleyball coach. Maybe if I could get Abby to twist his arm to come join us at halftime to talk about the volleyball team and how well they're doing, and also what to expect with the women's basketball season, and maybe even the men. He doesn't coach the men. Another handoff, another gain of 3. And it'll be 2nd down and 7. I think this is probably the most I've talked all season long. We have another flag on the play. Actually, we have a flag post-possession here. And I don't know, somebody on the Siskiyous line might have said something within earshot of the official, and the official threw the flag. And so we're gonna see what the call is.
There's sideline warning on the home.
All right, so
Siskiyous, that's their first sideline warning.
Sideline warning against the Eagles. That's their first warning. No penalty yards. After that, it'll be 5 yards every time. So that's been a rule for the last several years here. So again, a sideline warning. No penalty yards. They have to stand behind a certain zone, and same can be said for Shasta College. They've actually been doing quite well in doing that. Here's Wickard with the pass, and another 1st down, and it's back out to Petit again. Well, it's Pettit, actually. I do apologize for that. So Pettit gets the 1st down, gain of 11 on the pass that time from Wickard.
48-yard line, first down.
If you're just joining us, Shasta College 6-1 on the season thus far. On the road, but here at Herschel Meredith Stadium, it has been a house of horrors for years for the Shasta College Knights, especially when it's bad weather games, but a little different when the weather's really nice. Here's the handoff again to Boston, and he gets a gain of about 5 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 5 for the Knights. And as I've said, I've watched this rivalry for years. When the weather is nice, it will benefit Shasta College. If it's bad weather, whether it's snow here or whether it's rain, it benefits Siskiyous. And I'll tell you about a game in 1999, which talked with Gary Moore about during our pregame show on Action VR Network, and which you folks on WON just joined the progress to hear about. Here's Boston again, and he gets through a hole. He's up the sidelines, and he's brought out of bounds. Nearly a horse collar tackle, but taken out of bounds by Bailey that time, and that'll be a first down, and the Knights are in business, trailing 7-0. In 1999, I went down to Memorial Stadium. It was the second time ever I watched the rivalry with Siskiyous and Shasta. It was at Memorial Stadium in Reading. It poured down rain the night before, and it was a virtual mud bowl game. Siskiyous won the ball game, and that was when Brian Jones, who had had a very bad knee injury, re-injured the knee and was done for the rest of the season, but the following year did very well for himself. Here's the handoff again, and this is going to be a touchdown for the Shasta College Knights. That's Matthew McCree with the touchdown. A 19-yard handoff from Wickard to McCree and into the end zone, and extra point pending could tie the ball game up. It is now 7-6 Siskiyous. But this one could tie it up here as number 38 will go for the extra point. Excuse me, that's 88 or 98. That's Matthew Ramirez, 6'1", 175-pound freshman out of Vacaville, California. And here's the kick on the way. And we got a tie ball game. Timeout on the field, 3:59 to go here in the first quarter of play. We are all knotted up at 7 between the Shasta College Knights and the College of the Siskiyous Screaming Eagles. We'll take a break and come right back. This is Screaming Eagle football all along the Screaming Eagle Football Network.
A reminder to please support our COS athletes and check out the concession stand.
And I do apologize here. Still dealing with a little bit of a frog in my throat here, but as you see, we're glad that you could join us here. We will take a halftime break, and as I mentioned, we're going to try and twist the arm of Tom Powers to join us on the radio broadcast. So stay with us here, and we're going to go right back to the radio. Back at Herschel Meredith Stadium on the campus of College of the Siskiyous, we are all knotted up at 7 apiece. And Siskiyous will get the ball back. Siskiyous scored on a touchdown very early in the ball game, but Shasta did the little grounded pound and with a little aerial action, got the ball into the end zone with a handoff, a 19-yard rush for a touchdown by Matthew McCree, and we are knotted up at 7. I told you this was a rivalry game, and Shasta College is proving just that. So, well, hopefully someday we'll get back down to Memorial Stadium for a game, maybe to cover these two teams, and that would be something really huge. D'Angelo Biggs has the ball. He takes the kickoff and takes it up to about the 30-yard line, and that is where the Eagles will take the ball. Biggs, a 5'9", 170-pound sophomore wide receiver out of Graham Capuchin High School in Graham, Washington. And it'll be 1st and 10 for the Shasta College Knights as Hayden Chittick will bring the Knights back up to the line for the Eagles. As I said, can't ask for a better day, picture-perfect day for November 2nd. That's a rarity. Yep, normally it's cold and you would probably get a little bit of the winter chill in the air, but we're in the shadows, so it's a little cool. That's how it is here. Here's Dennis Lee, and well, the defense stiffened up big time as number 90 and 44 on the stop. 44 is Cole Parker, 6'2", 250-pound sophomore defensive end out of Corning High School. And I think I saw number 90 as well. That's Detarius Kelsall, 6'3", 295-pound sophomore defensive lineman out of Shasta High School in Reading. The Shasta Wolves. Know that school very well and have visited Thompson Field on many an occasion to watch the Shasta Wolves play, and was there for a Lions All-Star game as well with our good buddy George Thorlson and the Hall of Famer Sonny Stupek. Here's the handoff. And we have flags all over the place here. Post-possession. Does it look like it was Dennis Lee on the carry again? But as I said, and I could just hear the Shasta sideline just up in arms. as to what is going on, but I guess we're going to find out because this was well after the play where the flag comes down. Now, as we mentioned throughout the course of the season, College of the Siskiyous has been hurt with penalties, and could this be another one that they're going to be hurt by?
Ball, unsportsmanlike, number 18, on the home team. That's his first unsportsmanlike under this category.
That's Rayoni Tompkins, a 6'2", 168-pound freshman wide receiver out of Paul International High School in Washington, D.C., was hit with an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, and that is his first unsportsmanlike conduct. If he gets another one, he will be ejected from the game.
After the penalty, it'll be 3rd down and 24.
And so it'll be 3rd down, but it'll be 3rd down and half the distance to Eugene. So again, penalties like that have hurt Siskiyous, and it's been very tough. The roster is, I could see right now, depleted for Siskiyous, but Shasta still has a pretty good-sized roster. I know that for years, and they continue to do very well. Here's Chittick. He'll keep it himself, and he'll go up the sidelines, and he'll get right back to the original line of scrimmage, but it'll be 4th down, and it will be punt time for the Eagles. Score update from the North Brunswick-Westfield game. It is now 38-21. And as a matter of fact, the game just went final. So 38-21, North Brunswick with the win and keeping pace and possibly with an opportunity to compete in the playoffs. And so that was a gain of 10 by Chittick, but not enough for the first down. It was 4th and 12, and Tristan Lewis to kick this one away for the Eagles. And here's the kick, and this one is a high spiraling kick that's going to take a Siskiyous bounce, and it's going to roll all the way to the 10-yard line, and that is where the Eagles will down it, and that's where the Knights will take over 1st down and 10. Next week, College of the Siskiyous hits the road, and they head to Quincy, California for a 5 o'clock affair Pacific Coast time against Feather River College. Program that's, I mean, it's a school that's been around for many years, Feather River, but they've only had football since 2003. I was there for their first home game against Cabrillo College, which they lost that game. And then the week after, Siskiyous went to Feather River and lost that game. But it was so much fun to go over to Quincy to check out their facilities there. And so that's where Siskiyous will be headed next week, is to Quincy, and then they will finish out the home season in 2 weeks, which we'll be here for against Sierra College. Here's the handoff, and going nowhere and liking it. Number 9. Well, they're saying that was Boston, but that's incorrect. That's number 9, Landon McCall, 6'3", 255-pound freshman tight end out of, how about this? Mundy's Mill High School in Hampton, Georgia. And I keep getting these stupid robotic messages. I'm telling you, I have to fix that during the commercial break. And Wickard is back to pass, and he just throws it towards the receiver. So no intentional grounding. They may discuss that, but. The pass was intended.
Call for intentional grounding.
And just making sure, referee indicating that there was no intentional grounding there since there was a receiver in the vicinity. So that's why no penalty. And it'll be 3rd down and 10. So Wickard looking to join such great quarterbacks that have played at Shasta College, especially since Ricky Ray, who donned the forest green and white for Shasta many years ago, was also a Lions All-Star, just wrapped up his career in the Canadian Football League with 4 Grey Cups, 2 in Edmonton, 2 in Toronto. And here's the pass. He's got a man open, overthrows his intended receiver, Pettit, number 11. So it's going to be 4th down, and it looks like the Knights will punt this one away. So like I said, a great rivalry game, and it's even Steven at the moment with 7s on the board, 1:25 to go here in the first quarter of play. And Abby bundled up a little bit, enjoying the nice crisp Siskiyou County air here and studying. No, she's not going to COS. I think she wishes she did, but she's going to Rowe Community College. Is that correct, hon? There you go. and Ramirez to kick this one away from his end zone. He's got to be very careful here, and he is. He gets the kick away, just barely gets that out of the end zone, and Chittick, oh, that almost hit him, and still almost hit him. And it was touched by a Knight, and there's a scramble for the ball, and it's going to be Siskiyous' ball. And we have a Shasta Knight down in the end zone. We have a flag down, and this could go against Siskiyous, but trying to see which player. As 96 gets up, that's Joshua Sanchez. We already mentioned him, the former Corning Cardinal, up, and it looked like he kicked the ball away.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker. Number 2 in the defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So the Knights catch a break on a roughing the punter call in the end zone, and so now the Knights are going to have the ball first down and 10 from, it looks like, the 25 on the 15-yard penalty on the roughing the kicker call, and some of the Siskiyous folks are none pleased about that call. And I got to tell you, like I said, this has been the Achilles heel for College of the Siskiyous all season long, have been the penalties. And Dennis Lee was the one that got hit with the roughing the kicker call. So Shasta will have the ball first and 10 from the 25. And I wish George could hear it live, but I'll tell you what, if he's listening to it, a very big hello to George Thorelson, the former play-by-play guy for the Shasta College Knights on KQMS many years ago in Reading. And the handoff, we have a flag.
McCree with the ball, but a flag down.
And this could very well be against the Knights, as Siskiyous, well, they're going to say offsides.
Play first down.
So once the player got into the neutral zone, or at least made contact, that is a penalty. If they go into the neutral zone and the ball is snapped, that's a penalty. If the player gets back in time, then it's not a penalty. But unfortunately, it was contact, so defense getting the penalty called against them, 5 yards, and it's 1st and 5 now at the 30-yard line. So Shasta now knows the deal, and they're going to use it to their advantage here. There's the handoff, and gets it over to McCree, and he gets knocked out of bounds, just short of the first down by about 2 yards, I want to say. So it'll be 2nd down, and we'll see where the referee spots it. Well, it's a gain of 1, so it'll be a gain of 2, so it'll be 2nd down and 3. Clock is counting down to the end of the first quarter of play. From the Hirsch here in Weed, California. Glad you could join us here all along the Screaming Eagle Football Network, Action VR Network, 920 WO in the Apple in New York, and also the College of the Siskiyous Facebook page. Oh, and the pass was overthrown, incomplete. Ivan Smith, the intended receiver, on the coverage for the Eagles was number 13.
3rd and 3.
Dalen Ford. He is a 6 foot, 175-pound freshman defensive back out of Hazen High School in Renton, Washington. A lot of the players for these Eagles are recruited out of the Pacific Northwest because the junior college programs, or as they call them, community college programs, are the same thing. Up in the Northwest, they don't have football, so they come down here to California. And we have whistles. And it'll be a 5-yard penalty against the Knights for a false start or illegal procedure. So instead of 3rd and 3, it'll be 3rd and 8. And number 76, Michael Jameson,
3rd down and 8.
mentioned his name. He's up looking at the referees up to say, "Are you kidding me?" What can you say? Well, 5 seconds left to go here in the first quarter of play. Here from Herschel Meredith Stadium on the campus of College of the Siskiyous. Glad to have you with us. And all along the Screaming Eagles Football Network. Big rivalry game, and you are enjoying it. I hope that you're enjoying it as much as we are, either on the radio or on the Facebook Live. Here's the short pass, And he gets it to McCree, breaks loose again. Time expires here in the first quarter of play. And that is a big first down play. And just in time as Wickard comes up limping noticeably. So at the end of the first quarter of play, we are tied at 7 between the Shasta College Knights and the College of the Siskiyous Screaming Eagles. Stay with us. We got a second quarter to come here on the Screaming Eagle Football Network, all along the Action VR Network and the WNON Sports Network. And for you folks on Facebook Live, hope that you're enjoying this on a beautiful day here at College of the Siskiyous. Still time to get out here to watch the game in person, but if you can't make it out here, especially if you're back east someplace, this is the best place to do it, on Facebook Live. And you hear in the background, this is the Action VR Network broadcast. Back to action here, and it is a Friday night big affair coming up. Affair of the Heart in Connecticut as the Trumbull Eagles get ready to take on the North Canton Rams. The Eagles, how ironic, the Eagles will be at the Rams. That will be on the 10 network. It'll be broadcast live at 6:45 Eastern on the WON Sports Network, WON 920 The Apple. And there'll be some more games added as November rolls around. In 2 weeks here on Action VR Network and 920 WON The Apple, the Screaming Eagles will have sophomore day, and it'll be their final home game of the regular season as they will host the Sierra College Wolverines from Rockland, California, just east of Sacramento. So be sure and check that out. And there's a possibility we might hang around to cover a women's basketball game if there's one scheduled over at the COS gym. But we'll talk more about that in just a bit, hopefully with Tom Powers during halftime. Here's the handoff as we start the second quarter of play. Boston, the ball carrier, but gets a gain of 1. It'll be second down and 9. As we're just underway here in the second quarter, as I mentioned, all tied up at 7 apiece. And this is probably the closest that we've seen Siskiyous all season long. They captured the lead to start the game, but Shasta College came back with a touchdown inside 4 minutes left to go in the first quarter of play. And now we're even Steven. And you heard Brian Hamilton say it. When it's Siskiyous versus Shasta, it is a rivalry game, no doubt. And here's a nice pass, and James Lee steps out of bounds at about the 40-yard line of Siskiyous. And it'll be first and 10 for the Shasta College Knights. And as we mentioned earlier, Shasta Sports Network, who's covered the Shasta College Knights for many years, is here again. And we had Gary Moore during our pregame show, and always good to talk to Gary. And did some really great work with Shasta Sports Network over the past few years, and hopefully it will continue. Hopefully the network will continue on as they're doing it. You might want to check them out as well. Here's the handoff. Oh, and a nice stop as Tyler Boston was stopped by a dark blue brick wall. Dustin Long, one of those on the stop. He was leading the charge. So the former Biggs Wolverine coming up big for the Eagles. It'll be second down and 11 yards to go with a loss of 1. Glad that we're still on the air, and we hope to carry more COS games in the future. I know the first game of the season we weren't able to bring you the first half because of technical problems. We haven't had any problems since then, knock on wood. There's no wood to knock on right now, only brick. So sorry about that. Here's the pass as Wickard will now head towards the sidelines and get out of bounds, but lost another yard on the play. Third down and 12, and as I was about to tell you, we heard Brian Hamilton on the radio side of things, not for the folks on Facebook Live. We had Brian Hamilton, the head coach of the Shasta College Knights, on with us, said, you know, throw all the records out the window when you have these two teams go at it, because I've seen it in the past. You know, Shasta could be dominant, Siskiyous could stink, and yet Siskiyous could still come out with a win. Same could be said if Siskiyous were dominant and Shasta would stink, perhaps Shasta could come out for a win. But that's usually how it is with this rivalry contest. Here's the pass, and the intended receiver, Pettit,
Pass intended for Pettit, incomplete.
falls incomplete.
4th down and 12.
And it'll be
coming up.
4th down and 12. And decision time for the Knights. And I've known this this Knights staff, and they decided they're going to go ahead and punt this one away. So didn't take very long for for Coach Hamilton to make the decision. In fact, just to kind of let you know that Hamilton did coach some high school ball at Foothill High School in Palisadro a number of years ago, but came back to the Knights staff, and for Coach Thompson at the time, that was a breath of fresh air, no doubt. And a short kick, and it's going to be Chittick, and he better be careful. He's the quarterback. We got a flag. Could be for an illegal block here as they tried to go out to the sidelines, and I can hear the banging in the Siskiyous booth that this one's going to go against the Eagles, and so they're going to be starting again deep in their own territory. And if you're Shasta College, you got to be chomping at the bit here to push them further back. And we'll be holding against the Eagles.
First down.
And Ford will be hit with a penalty. And I've said this before, penalties have been killing the Eagles all season long, and they're rearing their ugly heads again. And unfortunately, with the depleted roster here for the Eagles, they've had some injuries as well throughout the course of the season. And unfortunately, I think Sivanxa might have also been injured, but he's just had quite the struggle this year, and so that's why they switched quarterbacks. But Chittick getting his opportunity, the former Lassen Grizzly. And back well over 20 years ago, he's called Lassen the land of the kickers. When he had a young man by the name of Jared Chafin, who set 2 Lions All-Star game records, 4 field goals in a game, and 46 yards, the latter record broken by Aldrich Rosas, now of the New York Giants. Here's the short pass, and he gets it out to Biggs, and Biggs can't go anywhere. Oh my goodness, can you hear that? I'm sitting right here in front of the microphone for the Siskiyou Media Council, and the booth over on the north side, you could hear the coaches just go absolutely nuts. So Biggs not able to get around, lost 2 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 12. Or actually, they did gain 2 yards. It'll be 2nd and 8, beg your pardon, from the 12. Here's Chittick with a short pass to Biggs, and Biggs, doing a little bit better. Got a gain of another yard, but there's too many white shirts right there to keep him from going any further.
Picks up 2 more to be 3rd and 6.
They're going to say 3rd and 6. It was a gain of 2 more. So now Chittick's going to look for a long pass coming up here. Three wides to this near side, I back in the backfield, and a wide to the far side. Let's see how Chittick does here out of the ray gun. Play clock down to 7 seconds, and takes the snap, slips, and this is not looking good, and back all the way to the 1 yard line. And
Parker with the sack for the Knights.
Trying to look to see who it was. It was Parker on the sack. I'm going to try and look for Mr. Parker.
Ball on the 6 yard line will be 4th and 14.
And here it is, Cole Parker on the sack. We mentioned him earlier, the pride of Corning High School, and sacked all the way back to the 6 yard line, I beg your pardon. I can't see yard markers to save my life, and I've got glasses on. So Tristan Lewis in the back of his own end zone. And he's going to try and get this one away, and he does, and it's a wobbler. It looks like it'll be, and it is picked up by Ivan Smith, And he's going to try and make something out of nothing here, and he gets it back across midfield, and a late flag coming up. It's likely going to be a late hit out of bounds.
There's a flag down at the end of the play.
And again, it's going to benefit the Knights. As Smith went out of bounds at the 43-yard line, but tack on 15 more, it looks like. It could be a late hit out of bounds, as I said. And referee throwing that flag like he was throwing a javelin, for crying out loud.
Nope.
Now they're going to pick the flag up, so
Apparently no penalty on the play.
so there was no late hit out of bounds, and so good call by the official to pick the flag up. And so it'll be 1st and 10 from the 43-yard line of the Eagles. And the Knights trying to exercise the demons of games past here at Herschel Meredith Stadium, where historically over the last couple of decades, Shasta has not done well here except for one victory during a nice weather game, shall we call it. There's the handoff. And it's going to be a pickup of about 6 yards on the play. And let's see who comes up from the bottom of the pile.
Stopped by Taylor Courtney. I think it was 6 on the play to be 2nd and 4.
Taylor Courtney, I believe I heard the name. There he is, Taylor Courtney, number 91, 6'1", 230-pound freshman defensive lineman out of Sunset High School in Portland, Oregon. And a lot of big news if you listen to Arena Football Nation just before our broadcast here today. We'll tell you more about that in just a second here as down goes McCree.
Stopped by Jonathan Bailey.
Jonathan Bailey, 5'10", 166-pound freshman defensive back out of Canyon Springs High School in Las Vegas, Nevada. Vegas! Coming up with the stop there is 3rd down and 4. Yesterday, the Spokane Shock officially announced they are coming back and will play in the Indoor Football League for 2020. That's one of the big good pieces of news. The other good piece, the Orlando Predators with new ownership group back to play in the National Arena League. And those are the two good pieces of news. The bad piece of news, the Arena Football League on the verge of shutting down for good. Here's the short pass to Ivan Smith. Comes up with the reception, but likely no gain, and it is no gain on the play. But we're going to see what the Knights are going to do here on 4th and 4 as the clock continues to run. 8:05 to go here in the first half of play. And the Riverboat Gambler, Brian Hamilton, is going to go for it. Learned a lot from Craig Thompson, didn't he? I definitely will say he learned a lot from Craig Thompson for many years as an assistant. Now the head coach of the Shasta College Knights, and he's got him winning 6-1, and getting them in a position to host a bowl game. Here's the pass, and he gets it out to Smith, and Smith gets the first down at about the 32-yard line.
Pretty good for a Shasta first down.
Again, coming up at halftime over on Action VR Network. We're going to take a quick break, and then we will come back, and hopefully we will twist the arm of Tom Powers, the women's basketball and volleyball coach at College of Siskiyous, to talk both volleyball and women's basketball, as basketball season is about a week or so away from starting in the junior college ranks. And that over the head of the quarterback, and this one is going to be Siskiyous ball. Oh, not yet. There's still a scramble for it, and Shasta College dodges a major bullet, as there was some miscommunication that time, and Virgil Ellis, number 27, who is on offense, but is listed as a 6', 230-pound sophomore linebacker out of Lower Lake High School, comes up with the ball, and it's going to be 2nd down and half the distance to Corvallis.
Make that 34.
2nd down and 40. Okay, how about half the distance to Vancouver, British Columbia? My goodness. Shasta College dodging a bullet that time. A little miscommunication between the quarterback and the running back that time. So now let's see what Wickard can do here. Gets a big fake with a pass. Oh, my goodness. And throwing it out of bounds as Ivan Smith got rocked, and he is going to get he's going to get the benefit of a penalty here as number 13, as it looks like Ford is looking at the officials as if to say, what are you, what? As he's going to be hit with another penalty, and it's likely going to be a personal foul penalty, and I can hear the Siskiyous coaches going absolutely berserk. Can you hear it? Can you guys back in New York hear that? So let's find out. Oh, they're going to say defensive holding against the Eagles. So this could very well be an automatic first down, and it is going to be an automatic first down for the Shasta College Knights. And some of the Knights players looking up at the Siskiyous booths as if to say, first down, baby. But the Siskiyous, yes, Jonathan Rios said he could hear it back in New York. You could hear the Siskiyous booth going berserk over that penalty. And I'll keep that one to myself. 1st and 10. Here's the handoff, and Siskiyous says, "Take that!" As number 25 coming up with the stop that time, and that's Jesse Porter, 5'9", 175-pound sophomore defensive back out of Centennial High School in Graham, Washington. With the stop, a loss of 5 on the play, and didn't quite see who was the one that was on the carry that time for the Knights. Well, like we said, it is a rivalry, and this is proof is in the pudding right here. I've watched it for well over a decade now. And it's almost like here in Siskiyou County, Weed versus Mount Shasta, Dunsmuir versus McLeod, Wairika versus Shasta County. Here's the pass. Oh, and juking his way out of that one is number 80. It's an 80 series number. Josiah Gable, number 80, 6'3", 220-pound sophomore tight end out of West Valley High School in Cottonwood, the West Valley Eagles. You've got the College of the Siskiyous Eagles. You've got the Trumbull Eagles. You got the Eagle Point Eagles. And now you got the West Valley Eagles. Yoncalla Eagles. Any other Eagles that we can mention?
Philadelphia Eagles.
Abby said it right. Philadelphia Eagles. There you go. But coming out of Cottonwood, he was coached by Greg Grandel, the veteran, shall we say. There's the handoff to Pettit. Nicholas Copy on the stop for the Eagles. Greg Grandel, probably the winningest coach in Lions All-Star Game history, though this past year, it was the South winning down at Chico High School. And College of the Siskiyous holding tough against Shasta College. This is what we were talking about. We talked about the rivalry game, no doubt about that. And it was it's a big rivalry, and you can bet your bottom dollar that you're seeing some great action, and it doesn't matter what sport it is. Here's the handoff again, and it's to number 33 Boston, and he gets stopped short of the first down, and the Eagles will have it 1st and 10. From their own 37-yard line, as Tyler Boston stopped just short of the first down. So the Eagles will have the ball back on offense. We are still tied at 7. Both scores coming in the first quarter of play, but since then it has been a defensive battle between the two teams. And Craig Thompson, now the defensive coordinator for the Knights, he's got his defense going, and Phil Moss, I believe, is the defensive coordinator for the Eagles, and he's been there for a long time, so he knows how to put defenses together as well. Defensive coordinator is actually Tyler Knudsen, but Phil Moss coaches the linebackers, but he was at one time the head coach, and I believe he was defensive coordinator for years as well for College of the Siskiyous. And no doubt you look at these defenses, and they have been stout throughout the afternoon. There's a short pass to number 5, who gets the ball for the very first time. That's Christian Dowdell.
Dowdell.
5'10", 174-pound freshman running back out of
First down.
Hernando High School in Brooksville, Florida. And no, I do not see my Kimberlina. Oh wait, that's Fernando. Sorry. That's Hernando High School in Brooksville, Florida. There's the handoff to Dennis Lee once again, and he on first down takes the ball up, gains about, looks like 4 yards on the play, up to about the 44-yard line. Gain of 3, actually. It'll be second down and 7.
Mitchell after a pickup of 3.
Heading towards the 2.5 mark to go here in the first half of play. We will cut away on Action VR Network. Coming up at halftime on WON, an episode of Superman will be coming your way during halftime. And Superman, part of the flagship show for 920 WON The Apple, which also airs on Action VR Network, and that is One Nostalgic Weekend. So be sure and check out classic radio, the way it's supposed to be heard. Here's Dennis Lee with another carry, and he's still on his feet. They cannot bring him down. And somebody for the Eagles lost a shoe, and I believe that was Dennis Lee, so he's going to come off the field.
That is good for Eagles.
And that is going to be good for another first down, as Dennis Lee lost his shoe, so he has to come off the field for a play. Whenever you lose a piece of equipment, you have to come off the field. Similar to an injury. If you're injured, you have to come off for at least one play. But a nice run that time by Mr. Dennis Lee. That's Siskiyous Dennis Lee, by the way. And gives him a first down. Chittick back to pass, scrambles, throws towards the sideline, incomplete. Knights wanting intentional grounding, but
There's no foul for intentional ground. The quarterback was outside the pocket. The ball went across the line of scrimmage. Second down.
easy for him to say.
Pass goes out of bounds.
So the pass goes out of bounds, and Shasta wondering where's the intentional grounding. There was no intentional grounding on that play. And I think the defensive coaches are upstairs, and that would mean Craig Thompson's up there. So he's calling the plays for his defense, and let's see what they could try and come up with here. And here's the handoff once again, and it's to number 89.
Jerry Daniels with the ball.
Because it was Daniels with the ball that time. It was an 80 series number. So Jerry Daniels, number 29.
Got a timeout.
And we have a timeout, Shasta College. So Jerry Daniels, 5'11", 210-pound freshman running back out of Staten High School in Staten, Oregon.
No gain on that last play. It'll be 3rd and 10.
And Abby was born and raised in Oregon. Where's Staten at, babe? No, she doesn't know where Staten is, so.
It's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, she's telling me it's out in the middle of nowhere, someplace up in Oregon. So we're going to take a quick timeout here with 1:22 to go here in the first half. All tied up at 7 between Shasta College, College of the Siskiyous. Stay with us. This is Screaming Eagle Football all along the Screaming Eagle Football Network. I have to get some commercial time in here. My goodness. I do have to go run and use the rest. Oh. So first down and 10 for the Knights here as we're heading towards halftime, minute 11 to go. And now here's Wickard. Out of the ray gun, he gets the pass over to Smith and goes nowhere.
Brought down immediately by Finn Reeves.
Finn Reeves, 5'10", 165-pound freshman defensive back out of Lake Ridge High School, out of Lake Oswego, Oregon. On the stop, but a gain of 7. Here's Wickard. Scrambles, throws it to no one in particular. And so 44 seconds left to go here in the first half of play. And once again, to remind you, coming up at halftime, we'll take a break here on the Action VR side of things, and we will return to the air in just a bit. Superman comes up on WON at halftime, and we hope to have Tom Powers join us, the head volleyball and women's basketball coach at College of the Siskiyous, to talk a little bit about how the volleyball team is doing and what we can expect out of the women's basketball team this season. And here's the pass, and he gets it to James Lee, and he gets a first down. Clock stops with 35 seconds left to go here.
Chase LaRue brings him down at the 44-yard line.
Chase LaRue on the tackle for
First and 10, Shasta.
Siskiyous, 5'9", 194-pound freshman linebacker out of Napa High School in Napa, California. Here's Wickard with the pass. He gets a short pass. He gets it to McCree, and McCree gets it up to about the 31-yard line, and Shasta's going to call a timeout. And we'll see what happens here with the offense. The offense, my goodness, has been has had a little bit of a struggle today here, but as we've said, this field, Herschel Meredith Stadium, has been a house of horrors for Shasta College for quite a number of years, but they're keeping it even Steven right here. And it's time to give a station ID, so we're going to allow 10 seconds for our stations to identify themselves all along the Screaming Eagles Football Network. This is Action VR Network and College of the Siskiyous Facebook page. Mike Summers back here at Herschel Meredith Stadium on the campus of College of the Siskiyous. 16 seconds left to go here in the first half of play. We are all tied up at 7 apiece, and Siskiyous comes back out on defense. And here's Wickard. As we've mentioned, the Screaming Eagles have been pretty dominant against Shasta College over the years. And Shasta looking to try and exercise those demons here. And Wickard looks like he's going to slide. And we're going to see how many timeouts left. And this is the last timeout for the Knights. And special hello to Jeff Berryman, who's watching on Facebook Live, on the COS Facebook Live site. Abby says hi too, Jeff. Old friend of mine from McLeod. He and I both went to McLeod High School. And timeout is being called. Abby calls us the Screaming Loggers. There you go. Thank you, babe. Class of 1990 right here. Jeff Berryman, I think it was class of 94, Jeff. Paris is going to relay it to me here shortly on the Facebook page, so let me know. We'll see what he has to say. Thanks to everybody who are tuning in on the Facebook page, at the COS Facebook page. Thank you very much for tuning us in. And, of course, all along the Screaming Eagle Football Network, 920 WON The Apple in New York City, and Action VR Network. And also a special hello to Shasta Sports Network. I know we're not on the air with them, but doing an absolutely incredible job. Now we're going to go for the field goal here, as Matthew Ramirez is going to try for a field goal here on the way, and it is good! With time expiring in the first half of play, Matthew Ramirez, and I got to count that had to have been a 44-yard field goal attempt for the Shasta College Knights, and they take the lead as we head to halftime. So it is the Shasta College Knights 10, College of the Siskiyous 7, and on Action VR Network, we're going to leave the air momentarily, and we'll get right back to things coming up. And hopefully we will have Tom Powers at halftime. Over on WON, it's another episode of Superman, so make sure that you stay tuned. This is the Screaming Eagles Football Network, Action VR Network at 920 WON, The Apple. Huh? It's going over Spreaker.com. Yeah, Spreaker.com. She'll help you. Coach, there's Coach Grandel down there, West Valley's coach. I think we just missed Tom. All right, all you folks here at the Facebook page, we're going to take a quick break and we'll come right back. So stay with us. Enjoy the view of the field. I'm just looking through here. I'm in a commercial break right now. 94 is Berryman? Okay. Yeah. Bob Ray messaged too. He's listening. Class of 69. Okay, we're in a commercial break right now, so. Don't ask me what time you want to leave, and then say I just want to go home. Just chill out. I know. Hey, there's Coach Grandell. I'll see if he wants to come on board. I'm still in a commercial break, so we can probably grab his attention. See, that's... Anyway, down here's the coach from West Valley.
Oh, yeah.
Got a couple of those players.
Oh, cool.
And he's...
I don't want to hold one. I just want to share.
Yeah, here. You guys can have one. Okay.
Which are you? I can share it down there.
Uh-huh.
You okay?
They didn't have the machine going, so they had to go one microwave. And the lady stole my pumpkins.
What?
The lady got cut in front of me and stole one of my pumpkins.
I traded up, Kyle. Got my husband. We were cuddling until you came. What's wet? Oh, wet. What happened? Oh, he's not here. I'm bringing the baseball.
He'll be back.
What he wants you to do?
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
We're live. All right, everybody on the College of the Siskiyous Facebook page. We're back on the air, and the teams are back out on the field. And we're going to throw in another quick break here before we head back to our radio coverage. And we will be rejoining our radio audience in progress here shortly. So right now it is 10-7 in favor of the Shasta College Knights. A close ball game and a very entertaining ball game. If you love defense, this is the game for you. So we're going to have the teams back out here and talking with the captains and so forth. So, and getting a little bit of liquid refreshment as well. So stand by. We're going to head back to the radio coverage, and we'll be with you. And welcome back to Herschel Meredith Stadium on the campus of College of the Siskiyous, all along the Screaming Eagle Football Network. College of the Siskiyous trailing 10-7 against the Shasta College Knights. And if you like defense, this is the game for you. Both defenses have been very stout throughout the course of the program, or throughout the course of the game. Only scores happened as far as touchdowns, all in the first quarter. College of the Siskiyous got off to a rocking start. They got a touchdown in the early in the first quarter of play, but then Shasta College comes back late in the first quarter with a touchdown of their own, and there was no more scoring up until the end of the first half when Matthew Ramirez came up with a 44-yard field goal to give the Knights a 10-7 lead as we head to the second half of our ball game. Coming up as soon as we're done on Action VR Network, it is going to be AFT Buzz with Bryce Burge, and we're going to find out what will be on after our game here on 920 W1 The Apple. Jonathan Rios will be giving me that information in just a bit. Again, we weren't able to get Tom Powers here during halftime, but hopefully we can twist his arm and talk a little bit about basketball coming up in about 2 weeks' time. I do believe in the mid part of November is when the basketball season starts, so the men and women are going to be taken part in all of the festivities. And College of the Siskiyous women's basketball have been in the playoffs for 100 years, I think, or it seems like that. But you have the Hall of Fame coach, Tom Powers, just an incredible individual. He's also coaching volleyball as well. So been a very busy season here as we're back on the network along with you. And the folks on the COS Facebook page with the crew from Siskiyou Media Council handling the video. Paris Patrick, the director. Awesome job as always. And we got one more game in 2 weeks. And we're right back here at the Hirsch as COS will have sophomore day, and they will end the season against Sierra College. So be sure and tune in for that as well, all on the Screaming Eagles Football Network radio and video. And Tristan Lewis kicks it off to start the second half. And it looks like number 19 with the ball. Does a couple juke moves here, tries to get away, and is brought down at about the 28-yard line. And breeze is picking up here a little bit. It's blowing papers everywhere here. Ty Lemon, again, the pride of Lower Lake High School, Lower Lake, California, and that's down near Clear Lake. Ball will be at the 27-yard line. It'll be first down and 10 for the Shasta College Knights as they get the ball here in the second half of play. And time permitting, Joe Franklin Remembers, followed by Timeless Oldies Variety Show, will be coming up on the WON radio network as soon as we're done here with COS football. Here's the handoff. Gain of about 2 yards on the play.
McCree tackled by Reeves.
And it was McCree on the carry that time, Reeves on the stop for the Eagles. Shasta College will be at home next week for their home finale as they will host American River College, and then they close out the season on the road. Oh, I don't envy the Knights at all in 2 weeks because they got to go to Butte College, and they have a brand new facility. If you were with us during the pregame show, I'll get back to that in just a second here as Wickard will be out of the ray gun once again on 2nd and 8. Back to pass, and has a man open and gets the first down, and that is Kentrell Pettit.
That's complete to Pettit.
So it'll be another first down for the Shasta College Knights. Butte College, I believe, has new facilities that have been opened up for them to play. I think they still play at Cowan Stadium in Oroville. So if that's the case, then Shasta might have a bit of trouble, though. Last week's home game for the Butte College Roadrunners against College of the Siskiyous was actually played at Chico High School because PG&E shut off the power at Butte. Bunch of sissies. Timeout is going to be taken by Shasta College. And we're going to keep it right here through the break here with a 10-7 lead for the Knights. Again, a reminder that in 2 weeks' time, we're going to have sophomore day here at College of the Siskiyous, and they will be honoring the sophomores in their final home game of the season when they host the Wolverines of Sierra College. And Jeff Berryman did inform us that he is watching the broadcast right now. Class of 94 for Jeff, so go Loggers. And not sure if they played last night. I think I heard that they canceled the game last night because of injuries for the Loggers. I think they were supposed to play Reading Christian at home last night, after they got their first win of the season, demolishing Dunsmuir last week. And next week, I think they do hit the road. If they are able to get enough players, they'll hit the road to take on always a tough team in the Butte Valley Bulldogs. As McLeod had their second season in quite a number of years as far as football is concerned. Back to action here on 1st and 10 at the 38-yard line for the Shasta College Knights in their own territory. Here's Wickard with the handoff and gets it to Ivan Smith, and he gets a big gain on first down, actually.
Jonathan Bailey.
As we said earlier, Jonathan Bailey on the stop for the Eagles.
Pickup of 7, it'll be 2nd down and 3.
If you're just joining us, an absolutely picture-perfect, gorgeous day here at Herschel Meredith Stadium on the campus of College of the Siskiyous. Screaming Eagles taking on their longtime rivals from down the I-5 corridor and out east on 44 and then up Old Oregon Trail, the Shasta College Knights from Reading. And another high snap is picked up by Smith. Right place at the right time for him. Second time a high snap gets away from Wickard, but
Now picked up by
it benefited the Knights because they had players right there. And that will go out of bounds at the 33-yard line. So it'll be third down and about 16 yards to go here. There is an update from a Section 5 semifinal game in upstate New York. And Candanga, the Candanga Braves, Candanga, my apologies, Jonathan, I can't get that. They're leading Eastfield 28-20, and that is the other game that is going on in the high school ranks in New York. Here's the handoff. And it's going to be Smith once again. And he's going to lose another yard, so it'll be fourth down and 17, and they're going to punt this one away. Nice little crowd here in attendance at College of the Siskiyous, and some coming up from the Shasta College area. And just was talking to West Valley head coach Greg Grandel in attendance, one of his players on the Knights. And historically, both of these schools have had West Valley Eagles on their team. Here's the kick from, I believe it was Ramirez, and he gets it to Chittick, and Chittick escapes a tackle, but is going to be brought out of bounds at about the 39-yard line. And Chittick doing just about everything. He returns kicks. He's the quarterback. And
out of bounds at the 39-yard
Hayden
line.
doing an outstanding job. Once again, out of Lassen High School. And one of those taken over at quarterback a couple weeks ago against American River College, and been paying pretty good thus far for COS. Again, this has been a, again, when we're talking about Shasta College, this place has been a veritable house of horrors for the Knights here at Herschel Meredith Stadium, although they have won here in the past, so they know how to win ball games. Here's the handoff to Dennis Lee once again. That is Zacchaeus Dennis Lee. Pick up about 9 yards on the play. It'll be second down and 1. And also another stat: Charlie Roach has never lost to the Shasta College Knights, but he's never had Brian Hamilton oppose him as the head coach at Shasta College. Shasta 6-1 of the season thus far, and looking to continue to rack up some wins as the season goes on. And here's a first down for the Eagles. So the Knights want to keep that win streak going so they can at least get a chance to host a bowl game at Memorial Stadium if they are fortunate enough to do so. College of the Siskiyous looking for their first win of the season. They are 0-7 entering this afternoon's ball game, and coming off of a 64-14 shellacking at the hands of Butte College last week. Here's the short pass. And gets it to Christian Dowdell. Gain of about almost 7 yards on the play, or actually almost 2 yards on the play. It'll be second down and 8, long 7. And now back up to the line. 4 wides, 3 to this near side, I back of the backfield. And Chittick with the fake. Gets back to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play that time. It'll be third down and 8. I can actually hear my voice. So thanks to everyone who have tuned in on Spreaker.com. Make sure that you check out a replay of this game there, and also check out a replay of the games on WON as well. WON in New York, Brooklyn, New York to be exact, broadcasting the games as well on a simulcast. And again, a reminder, if time permits, Joe Franklin Remembers, and then Timeless Oldies Radio right afterward. Here's the pass intended for D'Angelo Biggs, incomplete. Siskiyous coach is screaming for a PI, but not going to happen here, and the Knights will get the ball back as they'll have the ball on downs at 4th and 8.
There's a flag down.
And we do have a flag on the play, and apparently makes you wonder if somebody said Shazam too much. We're going to get the official call here, because this was well after the play. And some scores, Jonathan passing along from college football. Virginia Tech is leading number 16 Notre Dame 20-14 in the fourth quarter. And Michigan, after losing last week, are blowing Maryland out of the water 38-7 at halftime. George Thorlson's Washington Huskies are leading 14-13 over Utah.
Fourth down. DH's first unsportsmanlike under this category for.
And unfortunately, we have an unsportsmanlike conduct call against the Eagles. They're going to be punting it away anyway, but it's going to give them plenty more room to kick this one away pretty deep. And we didn't catch the player who got called for the unsportsmanlike, and that'll be his first. And the second, as I mentioned earlier, will be an ejection. Huskies are leading Utah 14-13 in the third quarter there. And Lewis lost the ball and falls on it, and the Knights are going to be in tremendous field position. 8th-ranked Georgia is leading 6th-ranked Florida 13-3, and the Michigan game just went final. And 38-7, number 14 Michigan blowing up Maryland. The Huskies game 14-13 at halftime, and in the third quarter, it's Georgia leading Florida, number 8 versus number 6. Georgia's leading 13-3. And Jonathan, if you can do me a huge favor and find out how the Oregon Ducks and the Oregon State Beavers are doing. Abby wants to know how the Ducks are doing against USC right now. So this will be 1st and 10 for the Knights, and Wickard out of the ray gun once again. Here's the pass, and has Smith, and he just gets popped by number 17, Finn Reeves, and Smith is slow to get up. And he's going to come off the field. Boy, he needs to catch his breath. But a well-earned and hard-fought 5 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd and 5 for the Knights. Again, for the Knights, they will host American River in their home finale next week for Sophomore Day at Memorial Stadium in Reading. And then they finish the season on the road at Butte College. That's not going to be an easy task. And here's the handoff. It's 33.
Boston, the ball carrier.
Is got the carry on the play, and Wickard is hurt. He got tackled and came down awkwardly, and he's holding his knee or his leg area. I'm not sure if it's his knee or if it's his calf or what have you, but the Shasta College training staff out there to check on their injured player. Ducks actually don't play until 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on Fox against USC. So those of you watching the Fox network,
ball now on the 19-yard line.
Abby doesn't want to know the score, but then again, the Ducks are playing later, so you don't have to worry about a score. Oregon State, I don't know if they're playing or not, but Wickard is going to come out here on 1st down, and we're going to see who's going to take his place. And it looks like we could be seeing number 16 is going to come out, and that is Casey Briggs, listed as a quarterback, 6'2", 210-pound freshman out of Summit Academy in South Jordan, Utah. Now comes into the ball game, and he'll go out of the ray gun. And if you're just joining us, the ray gun named for former Shasta College Knight and Shasta High Wolf, Ricky Ray. And he gets the handoff. Short gain on the play for Boston. And they're going to say 2nd down. It'll be no gain on the play. Even though the scoreboard says it's a slight gain, but it'll be 2nd down and 10. And so Briggs now. And yeah, buddy, Oregon State leading Arizona 14-12. Go Beavs. And Briggs on the keeper. And wow.
Casey Briggs on the keeper.
7-yard gain on the play that time. It's going to be bringing up a,
8-yard line.
well, they're going to say a 6-yard gain, 3rd down, and about 4 yards to go on the play. Briggs coming in, and he's already paying big dividends for the Knights right now. and is looks like is throwing the Eagles for a loop right now. Well, if you like defense, this is the game for you. But now we're seeing some trickeration, as a former night coach, Sonny Stupek, would call it. Trickeration. McCree with no gain on the play. It'll be 4th down, and they're going to go for the field goal, try and extend the lead, and it's going to be on the foot of Joshua Sanchez, who will now come out onto the field to hold for Matthew Ramirez. And Ramirez looks like he's okay. Actually, I should say Sanchez looks like he's okay. He was the one that had the punt earlier and got tackled in the end zone, which resulted in a roughing the kicker call earlier. Kick is on the way and no good. Wide to the left. So with 6:42 left to go here in the 3rd quarter of play from Herschel Meredith Stadium, it is 10-7 in favor of the Knights, and the Eagles will go on offense 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line.
COS will take over at the 20-yard line.
College of the Siskiyous will hit the road next week, as I mentioned earlier, against Feather River College, the Golden Eagles. There's another Eagle team. They have to go clear to Quincy, and that'll be a 5 o'clock start. They do things a little different in Quincy because they're up in the mountains. So that's how they do it with Feather River. And then the Eagles will have their final home game of the regular season against Sierra College in 2 weeks, and we'll be here for that one. Weather permitting, by the way, as we're heading towards the winter season. Handoff to Dennis Lee, and he goes nowhere. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Dennis Lee, the ball carrier.
And another reminder that College of the Siskiyous basketball will be occupying center stage in about a couple weeks' time. We were hoping to get Tom Powers, but he escaped us before we could get a chance to talk to him. So on 2nd down, well, there was actually a gain of a yard, so it'll be 2nd and 9. Here's Chittick getting the pass and gets a 1st down on that pass to number 88. 89, excuse me. There is no 88, but it is Joseph Halsey, 6'4", 185-pound freshman wide receiver out of Canyon Springs High School, and he's out of North Las Vegas, Nevada. And I have to do it for my boys for Fox again. Vegas! Here's the pass, and that one's almost intercepted. And oh my goodness, number 7 nearly coming up with the interception. Joe Merkel. I heard that name. 6'1", 195-pound freshman defensive back out of Redding, California, was an Enterprise Hornet in high school, and he's going to see that one in his sleep. He almost had that interception. So on 2nd and 10, Chittick out of the ray gun, has an eye back in the backfield, 4 wides, 2 to either side, and gets the handoff to Dennis Lee. Flags on the play. And we thought we were going to have a flag fest, but not too many penalties in this ball game.
Dennis Lee, the ball carrier. There are flags down.
And this could very well be a false start against the Eagles. No, it's offsides against the Knights. Abby called it. I heard offsides. So this will be against the Knights.
5-yard penalty will make it 2nd down and 5.
And Siskiyous now saying at least the penalties are not on us today. But they're going to take the down, and it's going to be 2nd down and 5. Or actually, they'll take the penalty, I should say. Here's Chittick. He's got a man, and it looks like incomplete.
Pass intended for Wickman is incomplete.
Pass intended for Ted Wickman, the 6'4", 203-pound freshman wide receiver. Another former Eagle from Youngcalla, Oregon. Youngcalla in the, if I remember, the Skyline League, which is a smaller league that includes New Hope Christian out of Grants Pass. And coming down to play for the Siskiyous Eagles this time around. And Chittick getting the handoff to Dennis Lee, and he finds an opening, and he is going to be brought down at about the 25-yard line. So Dennis Lee coming up with a huge run. And the College of the Siskiyous Screaming Eagles are in business. 1st and 10 from the 25 of the Knights. And Hayden Chittick working his magic here this afternoon. And he is a freshman, so I'm sure he'll be back with the Eagles next season if he continues to play the way that he is here. And short pass out to Dowdle. Gain of about 3 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Joe Merkel, the former Enterprise Hornet, on the stop once again for the Shasta College Knights. And everything seems to be working thus far for the Eagles here on this drive. And Chittick gets a couple of yards and was shoved back. Gets a 2-yard pickup. 3rd down and 5 as Tavian Wallace looked like he threw him back, but no flag on the play. Threw his arms up as if to say, "Innocent, Your Honor." Here's Chittick. Back to pass. He's got a man open, and it's picked off. And we'll see who came up with it. Slipped. He would have gone for 6 going the other way. And it's Merkel. And I got to tell you, if you're the coaching staff of his former high school, Enterprise High School, you got to be very excited about that interception as he comes up with it, and now it'll be night ball, 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line.
Welcome 2 former COS football players to the game today. Junior Hawkins and Dan Hawkins. Dan Hawkins, currently the head football coach at the University of California, Davis.
Well, how about that? Dan Hawkins is in attendance, the current coach at UC Davis and the former coach at Boise State and Colorado, and a former Eagle player. And I believe and I'm thinking that might be his son, I'm not sure, who's also in attendance, who used to play for the Eagles as well back in the day. So that's huge. So McCree picks up 2 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 8. We have a timeout, an official's timeout. And we have a player down for the Eagles. COS training staff out there. And so while they tend to him, we were about ready to go to a break here, but we've decided to stay with you here through the break. Man, my goodness, we got a lot of scores Jonathan is relaying to us. New York College football scores. LIU Sharks losing to Robert Morris 28-17. Boston College all over Syracuse 58-27. Buffalo beats East Michigan 43-17. Columbia Lions, not Columbus Lions, Columbia Lions blowing out Yale 45-10. Richmond over Stony Brook at halftime 20-10. Army is leading Air Force 6-3. And last but not least, Fordham losing to Lafayette 38-34. So those are the scores. Throughout New York State. Here in the state of California, we have a 10-7 Shasta College score, and the Knights have the ball on 2nd and 8. Gets it to Smith, and Smith will be brought down by 24. Dustin Long, the pride of Biggs High School, the Wolverines.
Dustin Long brings him down at the 26-yard line.
And so the Knights will have a 1st and 10. And both defenses are keeping it low scoring, which I think is a real big deal if you're defensive coordinators or if you're defensive coaches. on the stop. 25, Jesse Porter.
Hand off to McCree.
As McCree was stopped and Porter comes up with the stop.
Stops him for no gain.
No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd and 10. Well, like I said, if you like defense, this is the game for you. As both defenses have been keeping the offensives honest. Player coming in for the Eagles at the last second. So he'll now have to get called for not enough players on the field. There's the pass, and out of bounds goes Smith.
That's complete to Smith.
As Wickard is back in the game after injuring his ankle a little earlier. Just a little, doesn't look like anything major.
Pick up a 4, it'll be 3rd and 6.
Well, in the time that I've watched Shasta College players, they've had several players that showcase their talents, especially a couple great quarterbacks. I watched Ricky Ray in person before he went to AF2 with the Fresno Frenzy, played 6 games with them, and then was signed by the Canadian Football League to play in Edmonton, 2 Grey Cups, and then Toronto, 2 Grey Cups. He retired last year. Probably one of the greatest nights to ever play. Here's the, ooh! And comes up with it. What? I gotta tell you, that was incredible for those of you who are watching on the Facebook Live. As number 80, Josiah Gable, the pride of West Valley High School, and as I mentioned, his coach Greg Grandel right down there watching his effort, came up with the ball. He got popped in the back, but still hung on to the ball and stayed on his feet. How he did that, I'll never know, but he comes up with the first down for Shasta College, and they now have the ball at their own 37. Wickard out of the ray gun with 2 wide receivers to the far side, and I back in the backfield. And I'm going to say 2 tight end set. There's the handoff again, and this one's to Boston, and he's going to bring it up to the 41-yard line. Gain of 4 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 6. And the time is about to run out here in the 3rd quarter of play. And we switch sides of the field. And at the end of 3, it is still the Shasta College Knights 10 and the College of the Siskiyous Screaming Eagles 7. A defensive ball game here this afternoon from the Hirsch, and we'll be back with the 4th quarter of play right after this here all along the Screaming Eagles Football Network. And on the Facebook Live page, again, we thank you very much for joining us. Don't forget to check us out in 2 weeks as we're back here at Herschel Meredith Stadium for the home finale, Sophomore Day. You might want to come on out and show your support to all of the sophomores who are playing their final home game of the season in 2 weeks as the Eagles will host the Wolverines of Sierra College from Rockland. Again, game time will be at 1 o'clock, so make sure that you reserve your seats. Get out here to Herschel Meredith Stadium to support your College of the Siskiyous Screaming Eagles. And we're just about ready to head back onto the radio side of things, so we'll take a quick break here, and we're going to rejoin our radio audience momentarily. Is it me, or did that commercial sound like it was done in an echo chamber? Be that as it may, we're back to action here. 4th quarter play, fresh 15 minutes on the clock here from Weed, California. And what Gary Moore earlier on called a mix between football and the forest. And it is true. Very beautiful day, and fall colors are out in full force here in Siskiyou County. Here's the pass from Wickard, and he gets it to McCree once again with the only touchdown in the ball game for the Knights, and he gets a first down. And judging from what I'm seeing right now, it looks as though the Shasta College Knights are about to turn the Knights loose. Can't say turn the pigeons loose, that would be a little inappropriate, but we're talking about turning the Jets on. So 1st and 10 for the Knights here in Siskiyous territory at the 43-yard line. and taking as much time as they can. Play clocks are in effect here in college play.
McCree again.
And McCree with a 1-yard gain. Dustin Long on the stop for the Eagles. And just to let everybody know, there will be a delay in 2 weeks. Speaking of delays, we have another injured Knight on the field. And not sure if the number, can't really see it here, but looks like he's going to get up. It's number 9. London McCall, he's a 6'3", 255-pound freshman tight end out of Mundy's Mill High School in Hampton, Georgia. I think we called his name earlier. And McCall gets up and walks off under his own power. Don't forget, coming up later on Action VR Network, at the conclusion of our game, we will be replaying AFT Buzz. And then later tonight, it'll be One Nostalgic Weekend, midnight Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific, followed by the Ryan Richards Show. Ryan Richards moving to later in the evening, immediately following One Nostalgic Weekend on Action VR Network. Joe Franklin Remembers will be on, time permitting, on WON. And for the folks on Facebook Live, go back and watch the game again on replay. It'll be posted on the Facebook Live page. Thanks to the fine folks at Siskiyous Media Council. An incomplete pass as number 80,
for
Josiah Gable. And on 3rd down and 9, quickly let everybody know that coming up, we know we have Thanksgiving, then Black Friday, Cyber Monday. How about Giving Tuesday? Siskiyous Media Council involved with a big Give Tuesday event that will be coming up on, I believe I was told December 3rd. So make sure that you give today. To find out more, contact Siskiyous Media Council. Great event, a great cause, and make sure that you be a part of Giving Tuesday. Here's the pass. Pass attempt, shall we say, as Wickard will lose 2 as he couldn't find anybody open. And
with the sack of the quarterback.
And Marty Foles on the sack.
Loss of 2.
Number 27.
Down at 11.
How about that? A linebacker with a 20 series number. That's interesting. 6'1", 230-pound freshman linebacker out of Dalby High School, out of Dalby, I want to say Austria. Though I think AU also would mean Australia, but I believe it's Austria. We'll get it correct here as time goes on. It is 4th and 11, and we have whistles.
Flags down before the play.
It's probably going to be false start against the Knights, so it's going to push them a little further back and give them a little more room to kick.
False start on the offense, number 27, 5-yard penalty. Replay 4th down.
27, the guilty party on that one, Virgil Ellis. And now Joshua Sanchez will have a little more room to work with on 4th and 16. Kick it right back to the Eagles. And there's a nice high spiraling kick, and it will be Chittick to catch the ball. He's not going to go anywhere. He's going to be taken out of bounds at about the 10-yard line, and that's where the referees will spot it. And that's where the Eagles will start 1st and 10 at the 10-yard line.
Number is 6, 2, 2, 7, 5, 0.
And looking down on the sidelines
622
at the Knights, and they still have their full complement of players, it looks like. Haven't been seeing too many injuries on the part of the Knights. They've been, as we said, having quite the season this year. They are 6-1 entering today's game.
Number 8's in quarterback.
And we have a new quarterback for the Screaming Eagles of College of the Siskiyous. It's Therian Sivangsa. 6'1", 195-pound sophomore quarterback out of Mount Shasta High School. The former Mount Shasta Bears back in. It's been a while since we've seen him. And gets the handoff. And didn't see who got the handoff. So they're kind of switching things around a little bit here, and it's Dennis Lee who got the handoff. Slight gain on the play, so we'll call it 2nd and a long 9.
2nd and 10.
Gain of a half a yard, we'll call it. 2nd and a long 9. So Sivanxa is back in the lineup, and he's had his struggle throughout much of the season. And after this play, we'll pause briefly for station identification throughout the Screaming Eagles Football Network. Here's the pass. And here's Sivanxa, gets a long one. Oh, and overthrows D'Angelo Biggs. Oh, mercy. That would have been 6 right there. And right now we are going to pause for 10 seconds to allow our stations to identify themselves all along the Screaming Eagles Football Network. This is Action VR Network, and for the video, it is the College of the Siskiyous Facebook page, courtesy of the Siskiyou Media Council. Back to action here at Herschel Meredith Stadium as Tyron Sivanxa is back into the ball game, and he sends this one out to Biggs, again incomplete, so it'll be 3rd down. It's now 4th down and 10, and so that was a quick 3 and out for the Eagles, and now Tristan Lewis getting ready to take the kick once again out of his own end zone. And things have kind of slowed down a little bit, and so is my mouth. As we still have this defensive battle, and the Shasta College Knights still with that 3-point lead. And here's Lewis, and he just barely gets it out of the end zone and kicks this one, and will go out of bounds, and it will be in Siskiyous territory, and that is where the Knights are going to take over. It'll be 1st and 10 for Shasta College at the 45-yard line of the Eagles. So as we said earlier, if you like defensive ball games, this is the game for you. Tyler Knutson, the defensive coordinator for College of the Siskiyous, Craig Thompson, the defensive coordinator for the Shasta College Knights, both have got to be very impressed with their defenses throughout the course of the ball game. And the coaches obviously have got to be happy. Brian Hamilton, the head coach for Shasta, and Charlie Roach for College of the Siskiyous. Here's the handoff again, and it's going to be to, looks like McCree again. Nope, Boston, pardon me. Gain of about 3 yards on the play. 2nd down and 7 for Shasta College. And I know that we still have plenty of time here, but we do want to give our best to the Shasta College Knights as they look to try and keep their winning ways going. Again, they host American River for Sophomore Day next week at Memorial Stadium. And then they hit the road for the final regular season game against the Butte College Roadrunners. And that will not be an easy game. Here's the handoff again to Boston, and he gains about 3 more. Kopi on the stop. For the Eagles, and I'm trying to look for Kopi here. There it is. Nicholas Kopi, 5'9", 185-pound sophomore defensive back out of Southridge High School in Beaverton. And yes, Beaverton, international headquarters of Nike. For all you Phil Knight fans out there, here's a pass. Oh my goodness, that is a penalty. That is concussion protocol waiting to happen right there. As number 1, James Lee, excuse me, comes up with the catch, and his helmet came right off, and that is going to be a personal foul, helmet to helmet, against the Eagles, and I'm going to guess it's going to probably be Mr. Ford. Going to be hit with that one, because you could hear that leather smack clear to Wairika.
And it's number 13. That's a targeting foul. 13 has been disqualified. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
So Ford has been ejected from the game for targeting. And you can hear the Siskiyous fans unhappy about that, but as the old saying goes, and I used to say this during my radio broadcast, the referees don't care. And I have to watch what I say here because I know I'm probably going to get hate mail. Hate email, hate social media mail, whatever. So Mr. Ford, I think for the second time this season, has been ejected from the game, and this time for targeting once again, and is going to head back to the locker room area. So another loss for College of the Siskiyous, and but indeed that was, it felt like helmet to helmet because Lee's helmet came right off his helmet after he got popped a good one. So 1st and 10. And that's going to be McCree. He's going to get another big gain on the play of about 4 yards on the play, so it'll be 2nd down and 6, and ball will be spotted at about the 14-yard line. So College of the Siskiyous keeping it close here with Shasta College, and this is probably the closest they've been all season long. They had the lead early, but Shasta came back to tie the game in the first quarter, and then a field goal right at the end of the first half made it 10-7, and we have been at 10-7 ever since. Here's a long pass. It's got a man open into the end zone. Touchdown, Shasta College. That's number 13, Brandon Morris. 6'3", 205-pound sophomore wide receiver out of Redlands High School in Redlands, California, with the touchdown, and it is 16-7 with the extra point to come. And at least for this game, it looks as though the Shasta College Knights are exorcising the demons from Herschel Meredith Stadium. But there's still plenty of time to go here, 9:09 to go in the ball game. Plenty of time for the Eagles to come back. Here's Ramirez with the kick, and that one looks like misses wide to the left. So with 9:09 left to go here in the ball game, it is the Shasta College Knights 16 and the College of the Siskiyous Screaming Eagles 7. We'll take another quick break and come right back all along the Screaming Eagles Football Network. You folks on Facebook Live, Shasta College Knights coming out with that 16-7 lead. Again, we do encourage everybody to come on out in 2 weeks for sophomore day with the final home game of the season for the Knights, and it'll be the final game for the sophomores who will be playing in that game. And who knows where the sophomores are going to go. They'll be going on to bigger and better things, so we want to wish them luck. Make sure you come out in 2 weeks, and we'll be right back here. So we'll be right back. And we are back, and we got another announcement to remind you of. For those of you on the Facebook page, just reminded you, be sure and come out for sophomore day in 2 weeks as the Knights will host Sierra College. And for the radio audience, we will be bringing you that game in 2 weeks right here all along the Screaming Eagles Football Network, whether it be on the COS Facebook page courtesy of the Siskiyou Media Council or on Action VR Network and 920 WON The Apple. A squib kick, and Biggs will pick it up. And he goes to the far side to tries to find a way. He gets away and getting some blocks, getting some big-time blocks, and Biggs gets a big return out to the 39-yard line as Biggs was juking and jiving, slipping and sliding, moving around like he was at a water park. My goodness, he was coming right down, going to each side of the field. It was going probably about 70 yards just to run back about 20 or so. But it'll be 1st and 10 at the 40-yard line for the Eagles. And if the Eagles needed a spark, that's the way to get it. As Sivanks is back in at quarterback. Hayden Chittick doing some masterful work on the offense as well as kick return. And Sivanks is back in. Throws the pass to number 88.
He's 2nd down and 10.
And this one's interesting because he is not on our roster. Number 88 for the Eagles. Last name's Earl, we just heard, and that's all I know. So can't give you any more information than that. So here's the handoff again from Sivanks to Dennis Lee, and he's going to be knocked out of bounds.
Dennis Lee with the ball.
Lost on the play that time.
No gain on the play. It'll be third and
Section 5 semifinal game for our WON listeners in upstate New York.
that's third and 11.
Braves leading East Ridge by a 49-34 score in the fourth quarter. Is that 8-man football, Jonathan? Because that's a high score for football. Usually see scores that high for 8-man football. I'm used to seeing that. So on third down and 11, and as we said, Siskiyous is back at quarterback and gives the handoff again, and this is going to be fourth down, and so now the Eagles are going to give it away again, and we have flags on the play. Probably a lot of frustration again on the part of the Eagles. So let's find out who the penalty is on, as the referee now has this mic situation.
Ball, unsportsmanlike on the offense, number 54. Fourth down.
Brandon LaRoe, a 6'1", 291-pound freshman offensive lineman out of Crescent Valley High School in Corvallis, home of the Oregon State Beavers, called for an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. That's his first. And obviously frustration boiling over for the Eagles, and referee heard it and threw the flag. So it'll be fourth down and 22 and half the distance to Reading. And let's see what Tyler Lewis does. He almost kicks it clear to Reading as he gets the fair catch is being called for, and a little bit of tying up of the feet in the back.
Lewis's punt.
But Ivan Smith comes up with the fair catch. And so the Knights will have the ball once again, first and 10. Jonathan making sure to let me know that it is 11-man football, so he made that clear. But as we said, 49-34, that's a high-scoring game. So if you like offense, that's the game to watch or listen to, but we don't have it on the air here. But as far as defense, you got to be loving defense here in this ball game, as the Knights and Eagles have been in pretty much a sparring match throughout the course of the afternoon. And here's the handoff from Wickard, gets it to Boston once again, and he carries for about an 8-yard gain, almost a 7-yard gain, shall we say.
Stopped by Jonathan Bailey.
Jonathan Bailey on the stop. And that was McCree on the carry.
7 yards on the play. It'll be second down and 3.
So a gain of 7. It'll be second down and 3 for the Shasta College Knights, leading 16-7 in a low-scoring ball game. And been very close throughout the ball game. And as I said, if you like defense, this is the game for you. But Siskiyous has to get through this game, as we have 7:14 left to go. There's still plenty of time for Siskiyous to do something. Trailing by 9, and we have another carry, and we have whistles from the referee, and he's going to go over to talk to Charlie Roach about something. I don't see any flags on the play. I'm looking for flags, but apparently Charlie unhappy about what the referee just told him. So
It was enough for a first down.
So it was enough for a first down, just enough for a first down. And so Shasta College close to midfield here. The ball spotted at their own 49-yard line. And again, if you hear the dinging, that's my phone. I forgot to turn on the forgot to turn it on silent. But then again, if I would have turned it on silent, I wouldn't have gotten any of the notes Jonathan passes along to me. So unfortunately, that's how we're going to do it. But hopefully, I'll have headphones in 2 weeks. And we've got movement, but no flags on the play. But no matter for Shasta College, as
Boston with the ball, stopped by LaRue.
Boston with the carry, gains 9 on the play. It'll be second down and 1 as they get into Siskiyous territory.
Above 9, it'll be second and 1.
So second and 1 from the 40, I want to say 42-yard line, and that is the case, the 42. So it is 2nd down and 1, and once again the penalties are starting to hurt the Eagles again. And number 12 on the stop, Aubrey Jones, 5'10", 218-pound freshman defensive lineman out of Independence High School in Bakersfield. On the stop of Tyler Boston, loss of a yard on the play. It'll be 3rd down and 2.
Lost the yard, it'll be 3rd and 2.
Ball still spotted at the 42-yard line, but bit of a loss on the play. So again, to remind you, for Shasta College, you heard Brian Hamilton during our pregame show. I mentioned that Feather River is next. Actually, I should say Gary Moore mentioned from Shasta Sports Network that Shasta will have their final home game of the season next week against American River. And here's a nice reverse, and here comes Smith, and he's going to be knocked out of bounds at the close to the 20-yard line. It'll be the 23 where he'll go out of bounds. What a call on the reverse, the end around, and Ivan Smith coming up with the run that time for the Knights. Shasta College, as I mentioned, they will have their final home game of the season next week against American River College, and I encourage you to tune in to Shasta Sports Network to watch that one from Memorial Stadium. Siskiyous will be on the road next week at Feather River College in Quincy, and that will be a 5 o'clock game. And there will be no internet coverage that I know of, unless Feather River has internet coverage. But I don't know how you could get coverage there in the Western Sierras, which is where Quincy is at. Here's the handoff, and it's to McCree again. He lost the ball, and Shasta gets it back. My goodness, they're just in the right place at the right time. As number 11 coming up with the ball that time, that's Pettit again. Yeah, my goodness. Another golden opportunity for Shasta College, College of the Siskiyous goes by the wayside as Shasta gets the ball back. But boy, they got the first down on that, as a matter of fact. So it'll be 1st and goal from the 10-yard line. And so that fumble kind of benefited Shasta with their player right there in Pettit after McCree lost the ball that time, but they get the first down, 1st and goal from about the 10-yard line. And to kind of finish out the schedule coming up here shortly. And it's going to be touchdown, Shasta College, but a flag on the play. Hold the phone, and we have another flag late.
Tyler Boston.
As Boston goes into the end zone, but there was a flag. There's 2 flags on the play, one during the play and one after the play, so we're going to find out about that. But quickly to tell you that Shasta will finish the season on the road. I don't envy them. Butte College is going to become calling in 2 weeks, is going to call the Knights. And Siskiyous, as we mentioned several times, they're going to host Sierra in 2 weeks for Sophomore Day here at Herschel Meredith Stadium, and we're going to be on the air for that one with the pregame at our normal time at
Personal foul. Case number 3 on the defense, or 9 on the offense. Those penalties will offset. We're going to replay first.
So, wipe the touchdown off the scoreboard. They're going to replay 1st down. There were penalties on both sides. And as we mentioned, this is not the same refereeing crew that normally referees here today.
For their generous donations to our athletic program.
So we have, as we mentioned, offsetting penalties. And a game went final today. The Greenwich Cardinals over the Trinity Wright Tech Ball Club 49-8 earlier this afternoon. Greenwich game. The next Greenwich game will air on 920 WON on Friday, November the 15th. That's in 2 weeks. And we'll get back to that in just a second. And here's the handoff, and it's again to Boston. So they're replaying 1st down and a gain of 1 that time. Greenwich Cardinals will host the Ludlow Falcons on Friday, November the 15th, 7 p.m. Eastern on Action VR Network. That will be a tape delay broadcast. It will not be live. It will be tape delayed. So make sure that you tune in for that if you are on WON the Apple. And as I mentioned, in 2 weeks, we'll be right back here on Saturday the 16th as the College of Siskiyous Screaming Eagles host Sierra College in their home finale. And a good possibility that if COS basketball has a home game, we'll stick around for the basketball game. But again, everything depends on the weather. Here's Boston, and he's going to, oh, he almost made it in the end zone, and he fights, gets into the end zone, but they're going to say he was stopped just short of the goal line, so it'll be 3rd and goal from the 1 yard line.
Stopped inside the 1 yard line. It'll be 3rd and goal.
And we are still on the air, so thank you very much for tuning us in here on Action VR Network and WON Sports, all along the Screaming Eagles Football Network, and that does include Siskiyous Media Council and the COS Facebook page, who are providing the video footage and the video feed, shall we say, the live video feed on the COS page. So hopefully all of you are enjoying the game just as much as we are. Here's the handoff to Boston, and he fights his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Shasta College! And this will pretty much seal the deal as we're inside 2 minutes to go here in the ball game. It is 22-7 with the extra point to come. And it is good. Timeout on the field. Minute 55 left to go in the ball game. And here in this 4th quarter, all Shasta College 23-7 over the Eagles. Back after this, all along the Screaming Eagles Football Network.
Opportunity to thank individuals who have donated their Saturday afternoons to serve Eagle football for many years.
Well, we thank you, everybody, on the Facebook Live page. And again, everybody's got to give a big thank you to Siskiyous Media Council for handling the video portion, their crew here every home game. And let's see, hopefully we can see them during basketball season. They got the best seat in the house inside the gymnasium there. So we'll talk more about that here when we go on back on the air on the radio. And we're back here on Action VR Network, WON Sports, 920 WON The Apple, all along the Screaming Eagle Football Network, and the Eagles at home again and are looking up at the scoreboard right now and seeing that it is not good for them. They got the first touchdown of the ball game, but it has been all Knights ever since, as the Knights lead 23-7. As we're inside 2 minutes left to go here in the ball game, and the Knights will likely go to 7-1 and continue their winning ways. And again, they will host American River at Memorial Stadium next Saturday. So we'll wish the Knights good luck, and that could wind up getting them a bowl game. But as we said, they will close out the season on the road at Cowan Stadium against the Butte College Roadrunners. And after the way that Butte handled Siskiyous last week, Shasta better be ready for them. And here's a pickup here on the part of number 29, Jerry Daniels. 5'11", 210-pound freshman running back out of Staten High School in Staten, Oregon. And a lot of popping going on. They're still playing.
Eagle fans, the last home football game will be on Saturday, November 16th, 2019.
So to let everybody know, we will try to get down here for some basketball action with the COS Eagles. And those games will likely be aired on Action VR 2 because of the possibility of one nostalgic weekend staying on the air. But we'll decide that when we get there, and I'm sure Jonathan Rios will be working with us as far as that is concerned for Saturday action. Here's the pass, and gets it out to number 85, and that's Wickman.
Pass complete to Wickman.
And gets a first down, and goes out of bounds. The clock will stop with a minute 40 left to go here in the ball game.
On the 49 of Shasta, first down.
So the Knights will come out with another victory, and this has been rare for them, especially here at the Hirsch. And we have one player who's in the neutral zone but gets back. That's number 32, Adonis Thomas. And there's a pass incomplete.
Pass
intended for
Wickman.
Wickman. Roland Black the third, 6'1", 180-pound freshman defensive back out of Duluth High School in Duluth, Georgia. On the coverage that time, incomplete. It'll be second down and 10. As Suvanxa's back in at quarterback. So they only chewed up about 4 seconds left on the clock. So on second and 10, here's Suvanxa back to pass and is going long. He's got two guys open, incomplete, and D'Angelo Biggs looking at his teammate Dowdell as if to say, what are you doing? They were both in the same vicinity and collided. That would have been 6 points right there, but my goodness. A little miscommunication that time on the part of the Eagles, and so on third down with a minute and a half to go, now they have another opportunity going no huddle with four wides, two to either side. I back in the backfield. That I back being Thomas Little. And we haven't called his name all day. And he's going to try a short pass this time. And in the hands of Dowdell, and he couldn't hang on to it. So it's going to be fourth down. And this late in the ball game, you got to go for it on fourth down. Try and get a first down. But if you're the Knights, you got to make sure that you try and stop anything from happening to try and keep the Eagles in this ball game. So on 4th and 10, last gasp here for the Eagles. And trying to go for the short pass again, and incomplete, and that is your ball game. So it will be kneel down time for the Shasta College Knights and another flag. So somebody must have said something on the Shasta side. And unsportsmanlike conduct against the Knights. Well, actually, they're pointing the other way now. So I'm not sure what's going to happen, but it's, they're going to say it will be a first down. If it's against the Knights, then it's an automatic first down for the Eagles. And that is exactly the case. So that's not your ball game yet.
That is.
Not yet anyway. Well, it's first down the other way. So, but no matter for the Knights, they're just going to kneel down, and that will be your ball game. I'm confused. Of course, it doesn't take much to confuse yours truly. And so the kneel down, and the clock will run, and that will be your ball game. And COS, I think, has some timeouts left. And they're going to get Brian Hamilton here on the sidelines. So another victory for the Shasta College Knights, and boy, they're getting the coaches. They're celebrating all over the Shasta sideline, and even though I'm a Siskiyous broadcaster, I'm a Siskiyous alum. You know, I've covered Shasta College games in the past. I know I know the atmosphere there. I know how everybody has been classy for Shasta College. So this is a well-deserved victory for the Knights, and you gotta give the Knights credit. They've made this quite the ball game, and for them, it's been all good for them. And as I said, they have exorcised the demons that have plagued them over the last decade plus here at Herschel Meredith Stadium, and it is a big win for them because it keeps pace. They keep pace for a chance at playoffs. So again, for the Shasta College Knights, they go back home next week to host American River College. Best of luck to them on sophomore day, and then it sets up for the big showdown on the road in Oroville against the Butte College Roadrunners. For College of the Siskiyous, they got to go back to the drawing board as they get ready to hit the road next week against Feather River, and then they will host Sierra College for sophomore day in 2 weeks. We'll be here for that game all across the network. On the radio side, we're going to come right back after a quick commercial timeout. For those of you on the COS Facebook Live page, thank you very much for allowing me to be on the commentary again, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Once again, the final score from Herschel Meredith Stadium, it is the Shasta College Knights 23 and the College of the Siskiyous Screaming Eagles 7. Thank you very much for joining us here. And we're going to double check the time, and it is going to be a 12 p.m. start, I should say.